So generally, handbook should consist of things like that, required federal and state laws that you need to mention, and also general rules about things like time off and other stuff as well. But things that are really specific to your business, like steps of service and things like that, are generally best suited to be in a training manual, which is really a separate animal.
This is for both of you, but I want to start with Molly. You've said that the employee handbook is not a training manual. Can you unpack the difference and why it actually matters?
Yes. So when we work with a new client or a new business, one of the most common things that comes our way is we say, "Hey, do you have an employee handbook?" And they will say, "Oh, absolutely. Let me get it for you." And what they perceive a handbook to be is a list of their steps of service, what they feel like their core values and mission might be. And it's actually not what Annie will share should actually constitute an employee handbook. And I think that we'll argue that things about how your business runs and ways in which employees might learn about wine or food or service or interact with guests is very different than what an employee handbook needs to be for a business.
Yeah.
Awesome. Annie, take it from there.
A lot of what needs to be in employee handbooks are required policies. And when I say required policies, I mean policies that are required by state and federal law. So, for instance, if you have over 50 employees, you're required to have a Family Medical Leave Act policy. And it's pretty dry and pretty long, but it has nothing to do with, your steps of service or anything related to the procedural aspects of your business. So there's a lot in handbooks that need to be there that are along those lines. An equal employment opportunity policy, no discrimination, no sexual harassment policy. You also want things in your handbook like if you have a sick policy or a vacation policy and you're kind of laying the terms of those policies out. So generally, handbook should consist of things like that, required federal and state laws that you need to mention, and also general rules about things like time off and other stuff as well. But things that are really specific to your business, like steps of service and things like that, are generally best suited to be in a training manual, which is really a separate animal.
And I think, Matt, just to add to that, oftentimes, the ins and outs of hospitality or guest service or a training manual, it's somewhat iterative, like it's always changing. You're updating it seasonally, it's reflecting the patio, whatever might be going on. So that is something you might want to continually update and share out with staff pretty often. Whereas a handbook, it should be updated with precision. It should be looked at by someone with compliance experience. And so by separating those two, you have the opportunities to make what your restaurant feels like or what your business feels like available to your team more frequently, as opposed to going through the process of updating your handbook every time you want to make like a service or a hospitality change.